Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning, Darren.
How's everybody doing today? Alive, excited, and full of energy?
I'm getting my coffee.
Yes.
And you're like the extra shot of coffee. That's what
That's
I needed.
I'm like the espresso. I'm like
you're espresso, 100%. I love it. No, like I'm literally in Starbucks' drive-thru right now, though.
Oh, I love it. Give me a grande latte.
Done.
All right, we'll let everybody start popping in here. So while we're waiting for everybody to pop in here, I just kind of wanted to go around and ask you guys, why are you here this morning? What is the meaning of role play to you? Like what are you doing here?
I would say just to get one of the reasons to get motivation to really learn the scripts, and just to have our team together, which always builds motivation in itself, and to just perfect the scripts. And it's always nice to see everyone as well.
I love that. Who
I
else?
think for me, it's just accountability. I would say just showing up for myself and for the rest of the people.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Man, those are good ones. Who else? Why are you here this morning?
Hey, good morning. It's Clint Medeiros. I'm a new agent this week, so I'm here to see what's going on. And I believe role play is excellent skill building, and practice makes perfect. So I got my video off. So I'm on the freeway heading to an appointment, but I'll say hi later.
No worries. You get a pass. You're going to an appointment, so you get anybody on appointments get passes, right?
It's a personal appointment, but thank you.
It's all good. You could have just rolled with that too. So I appreciate the honesty.
I am honest. Have a good one. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Clint. Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know me, I'm Darren DeSilva, team leader of the DeSilva Realty Group. My team and Jordan's are kind of collaborating. Me and Jordan collaborate a lot together, and build our teams together. And we like collaboration with people that have similar mindsets, and bringing good people. Good people recognize good people, and that's kind of why we've been brought together. So what else? Before we get started, as we're going around, I want you guys to think of maybe some objections that you guys have had this week. Some things that you answered or talked to your client about, and you're after you said it, you're like, oh crap, I should have said this, or I should have said that, or what could I said, right? I'm sure we all have those scenarios. So as we're going around, just think of a couple of things, and then we'll dive right into the role play. So who else? Why are you here this morning? Why did you wake up at 8:30? Hopefully didn't just wake up at 8:30, but hey, I get it, but why are you here? What brought you here this morning? Why are you in this role play? What value is it providing you?
I'm here because I want to get better.
I love that, George.
It's
I love
No, that was Andre.
That was Andre?
But
Yeah. But he took the words right out of my mouth. I swear I was about to say that.
I love that. That's good. That's awesome.
yeah, I love hearing how other people handle objections differently, and learn, and picking and choosing different things that might work for me and applying it. So that's why I love hearing other people role play and doing it in this group setting as well.
Right. Yeah, different perspective. I love that. Anyone
This
else?
dog wants to learn new trick every time, so pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get fined.
Sorry.
All right. Anyone else want to chime in? Anyone else want to share?
practice is just like sports with practice, right? You got to practice, so when it's game time, you know how to perform. So you got to constantly keep sharpening the blade to make sure you're on.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So for me, right, role play is it's we do all this work and put all this energy into figuring out how to get leads and get appointments and do this and do that, right? But if we're not putting energy into what to say when we get on these appointments, then all of that time and all that energy and everything is just, it's wasted, right? It's kind of like just going straight to the Super Bowl without practicing, without going to playoffs, without you just show up there and you expect to win, right? So if you have that mentality, your chances of winning are very unlikely, right? So what we want to do is practice. So that way, when we get that opportunity, our conversion rate is almost guaranteed because we've done it. Like we could go on a listing appointment and I could go through my listing appointment in my sleep, right? Or if you just came up to me and said, "Hey, Darren, do a listing presentation for me right now." Without hesitation, I could walk you through my listing presentation, right? Or vice versa, being put in front of a buyer, right? Darren, walk me through exactly what you would say if you just met this buyer, and instantly I'll know what to say and how to walk them through the buyer consultation, right? Like that's where you want to get to, right? So until you're at that point, even when you're at that point, you still practice. You still, like a couple of you guys said, there's different things that you guys are doing that I could learn from too, that's worked for you. So that's why we're here. That's why we're in a group setting. And yeah, so I appreciate all you guys sharing. So what are a couple objections you guys have had this week, and if you're not able to talk or unmute, or you're in a place where you can't, just throw it in the chat, or just unmute yourself and say it.
Yeah, I had a weird one. So like it was like for an expired, and they mentioned like that I don't work in the local area. So like they asked me specifically like where I work. I said Manteca. Their house was over in Modesto. So I mean, I didn't know like how to respond to that. I don't think that's far, but I guess to them it was.
Yeah, that's a great objection, right? And I think that most of us start to almost like we don't know what to say because it's like, oh yeah, I'm not a local agent, and it's almost that confidence level goes down, right? But you got to look at it like this, right? If I'm a local agent, like let's say I had a really crazy disease, right? Let's say I had a cancer, and there's only one doctor, right? One hospital, right, that specializes in this, right? Am I going to go to my local, freaking Sutter Tracy Hospital, or am I going to go to freaking Stanford Hospital, in wherever it is in the Bay Area, right? Am I going to go see the specialist, right? So that's typically kind of where I go with those things, right? Is that's great. There's probably lots of local realtors in your area that do have a lot of local knowledge. But here's the thing: is I specialize in helping people get homes sold that other agents were unable to get sold. That's what I do every single day. That's my whole business model, and what I'd like to do, and I really don't mind, is I'd like to just come take a look at your house, share with you my plan, our team's plan on what we do to get homes sold that were unsold, and then you can decide if working together makes sense. Would that be fair? Right? So that's one way to handle it. I don't know, Andre, I know you do a lot of expires. What are your thoughts?
So one thing I like to do is when I'm calling and I look at the address, I don't know why I said address. I say, so let's say the house is in Galt, let's say the house is in Turlock, wherever it is. I always introduce myself as, hey, Darren, this is Andre with the Camara Group out of Tracy. I was calling about your property on 123 Smith Street. Just had to call and ask, man, how in the world did that home not sell? So I just established the commonality that I'm calling them and I'm in the city that they're in, because ultimately we are local market experts. It doesn't matter if it's Manteca, Modesto, Stockton, like we do service, you know, this immediate area, let's say within 30, 45 miles. So, whenever they ask me, I do, because at the end of the day, like I'm just going to just tell them that I'm from their city that their property is in, and I address them that way to kind of navigate that, because at the end of the day, we all know, I mean, you can work with a realtor in any city. It doesn't mean they're going to be a great agent, right? So that's how I address it. And it works really well when they tell me, oh, like, you know, we're, you know, they never really ask, because I tell them that I'm calling from the Camara Group in the city that they're in, if that makes sense.
That's smart.
I love that. Yeah, that handles that objection right off the bat, right? You know, then it doesn't even come up. Anyone else want to share their thoughts on handling an objection like that?
I usually kind of do the same thing because I feel like I'm always going to Stockton, and I don't want to like lie too much. So I usually just say, oh yeah, I'm from Stockton. You know, I live really close, really familiar with the areas. I grew up out here, go into a whole spill like that, which is the truth, even though I'm driving, you know, like 40 minutes to see them. But I think it reassures them, especially when I say, oh, I'm from here, I grew up out here. They don't really say anything more after that. And when I go to other cities like Sacramento and stuff, I pretty much say the same thing. Oh yeah, I'm from around here. And then kind of just move on from there. I don't really let them, you know, let it pause for them to press me on, oh, what area, or, you know, something like that. I just move on. And
Right.
usually they don't say anything after that.
Right. What's the best way to essentially answer a question and then get out of continuing to
ask them a question.
Ask them a question. Exactly. So the best way to get out of it, right? Like just totally pivot is to ask them a question, right? So that's why it's so important to know what questions to ask. When you're closing or leading someone from the beginning of a phone call to appointment, all you're doing is asking questions that lead. You're not telling. If you're telling and you're thinking that that's how you get there, then you're doing it wrong, right? You have to be asking questions. That's it. And if the person asking the questions is the one leading the conversation, right? So you can design a conversation how you want it to go just by knowing what questions to ask. So make sure you know exactly what questions to ask. What's another objection that you guys have gotten this week?
Darren, I was actually going to add to the last one, Darren.
Yeah.
One thing that I do, and it might sound funny, but like I literally know I'm a foodie, right? So I literally will look at the top 3 restaurants in every city, right? When you're having conversation with these people, Sacramento, you know, you could say, hey, I go to Punch Bowl downtown, like that place is amazing. Or Tracy, I go to Leia's, even though it's closed. I would never go in that bar. But you know, hey, Manteca, I go to El Jardín. It's so amazing. Like you can establish commonality in like certain ways with that. But I think the biggest thing is, like Nicole kind of alluded to, I alluded to, Darren alluded to, we have to have the belief, and we have the belief that if they don't work with us, we cannot guarantee that they're going to get the 5-star concierge service that they will get with us. So I think the biggest thing is just having the belief. It doesn't matter if we live, you know, in the area or not in the area, you know, being confident in our abilities and understanding that we are going to provide them the best real estate experience that they're going to have, regardless if we might not know that much about Sacramento or Elk Grove or Stockton or Tracy or whatever it might be. But just kind of keep that in mind when you're doing that. And it doesn't hurt you guys to just look at different things in different cities. Like, you know, we are local market experts, but you never know when you're going to need that. And studying a city is going to help you understand it a little bit more. So when you do have clients that are interested in that city, you immediately know 2 or 3 or 4 things about that city that are going to immediately give you credibility.
I love that.
Yeah,
do some recon, right?
That works all the time, especially like when I was talking about Stockton. If I mention like Lincoln Center, or I say, oh yeah, like Prime Table, Midges, when I start mentioning restaurants, then now they know like I'm not bullshitting them. Like I've been to these places that they've been to, and now we're like best friends, and now we're talking about, you know, regular stuff. And I broke the ice just by saying something that they know. So I think that's super smart, because when Andre's saying that, I'm like, oh yeah, I do that all the time, and I'm a foodie too, so I usually know a restaurant or something in the area that I can get them to talk about, and then that way now we're not just having some awkward conversation where, you know, we broke the ice and now they're like, oh okay, like I'm comfortable now with you. So I think it's a good icebreaker too, to know like a restaurant or something in the area to like throw out there for them to kind of pick up on and talk about.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and Veronica also saying you've helped clients like in that city before. I like that, right? You have like a proven track record, you know? Have you said something like that before that has worked for you?
Oh, are you speaking?
Yeah, so I've
Okay.
you know, like for that instance in, let's say, Modesto, you know, if I have I never had someone give me that objection, but I've helped customers in Stockton and Modesto and Manteca, so I would use that to the best of, you know, the leverage that I can. Like, yeah, I've actually helped a client in Modesto, not too far from here, and I was able to get them in the house that they wanted under asking price in a hot market. Or you know, if I'm helping sell a house, I would say, yeah, I actually helped someone in Stockton sell a house off of California Street, and I actually got them over asking price. So I'm, you know, I am very familiar, even though I'm not from the area. I am still working here, and you know, I see how the market changes here because I've personally, you know, something like that. Like I've personally witnessed it by helping my clients.
I love that. Yeah, you have a proven track record, right? You know, what better way to give people confidence than them hearing that you've already accomplished what you're going to do for them, right? It gives people confidence, you know?
Well, they need the best agent, not the local agent.
Right. Exactly. They need the surgeon that specializes in treating that disease, right? They not the local, you know, pharmacy nurse, right? You know?
Hey, hey guys, one thing that I wanted to touch on that I'm noticing a lot with, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. One thing that I'm hearing a lot, right, is, you know, with these scripts and these dialogues, one thing I want you guys to keep track of, right, is conversion language is great, you know, when someone's ready to go. A lot of our leads, though, also, right? So we want to come from a place of like contribution. And what I mean by that, right, is words are good, but it's only about 11% of the conversation. You know, the other 89% is going to be your body language and your tonality. So what I mean by that is if you have like a piss poor attitude, or you don't have energy, or you're not inspiring, right, it's still hard to get these people to buy into you no matter what scripts you guys have. And so as we're saying this, I'm not saying anybody's like that, but when we're meeting with clients, having the right thing and to say is perfect, and we have to have it. But how can we be inspiring, right? Like, how can we make them want to work with us? And I think it has a lot to do with your excitement for your job. I think it has a lot to do with like how you show up and like how you greet them. You know, those little things make the conversion so much easier. You know what I mean? It makes these scripts deliver so much easier. You know, when Nicole's saying she does this, when Andre's saying this, they do that really great. But what they're doing at a high level is they're getting their clients to buy into them because they're market experts, in my opinion. I think they show up very excited for their job, right? And when they're meeting with people, and they're about making this a great experience. And I would say if you guys could do that, that makes the conversion language so much easier for you. Those like little things that don't take a lot of effort. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing a great job, but be inspiring, get your clients to buy into you, And the best way to do that is just how you show up, showing up on time, showing up with energy, showing up with motivation, and showing up wanting to make this about them, not trying to get a commission, right? Sometimes as newer agents, we'll have what is called commission brag and realize we have it. When I say that, people laugh, but listen to your phone calls. You may be expressing that more than you would like. And so I just want to leave everyone with this call with that. I think you guys are delivering great objection handlers. Veronica, that was amazing. Like, I could take away from that. Andre's, Nicole's, everything that I heard about not being in the area was really great. So just felt like I needed as well.
Yeah, I love that, Jordan. And he's totally right? Like, just say that, right? Like just do that in the mirror, you know, say something with, you know, shoulders down, low energy, right? And word for word the same thing. And then say it again with your shoulders back, right? High energy. Yeah, there you go, Andre. and say it again. And just by putting your shoulders back, it's almost like you can't talk in like a low tone. It just can't happen, right? Or smile. Right? That's the biggest thing, guys. When I sold Kirby vacuum cleaners door to door, they called smiling the asshole shield. Right? Because when you smile, right? If you're not smiling, and I'm like this talking to you, but if I'm smiling, it's almost like you're just inviting positivity, right? And when you smile to somebody, the chances of them being being rude or unkind to you are very unlikely. You know, you got assholes, right? Doesn't matter what you do, right? But for the most part, if you smile and whatever your body language is, I mean, like Jordan said, you know, that's pretty much, your words mean nothing if your body language isn't aligning with your words and your tonality, right? So I think that's definitely something that all of you guys should try to, you know, look in the mirror and seriously, you know, like practice in the mirror, you know, walk through your scripts, look in the mirror and see how you're standing, right? Or when you're with your partner or buddy practicing, you know, call them out on that. Hey, you're slumped over, you know, maybe they're killing the script, right? Maybe they got it memorized, but their tonality is super down and they're not high energy, right? Like, this is an amazing thing, guys. Wow, I'm so excited that I get an opportunity to potentially help you and your family find a home. I mean, this is something that we don't take lightly. You know, this is just a huge part of your life, and just allowing me to be a part of it. I mean, I'm going to do everything I can to ensure that we find you the right home. You know, so I just wanted to put that out there, you know, and making it, you know, making it real, making them feel like you care, you know. What's the saying? People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care, right? So really showing and like Jordan said, right? Like, let's just be humans. Let's just be good people, not robots, right? This is a huge thing. What would you want in your realtor? If you were looking for your home, you had your kids with you, your husband or wife, like, how would you want your realtor to treat you? You know, how would you want to be talked to?
So I bought a home 2 years ago, and I used a realtor I found on one of his listings. The only reason I went with that realtor, and I was realtor at the time, just not active, I did property management. I hired him because he was nice. That's it. He was just nice. He was not the most knowledgeable, because I already had a background, so I didn't need the knowledge. I need somebody who is nice. So that's how I hired my realtor.
So that's how you met Andre.
Hey,
unfortunately, it wasn't Andre, but yeah, he was just nice. The realtor that I hired was nice. That's it.
To piggyback from Medina, right? People will do business with who they like, who they trust, and who can get the job done. But a lot of us will go into these appointments and these presentations and these buyers consultations and these showings trying to show them that we can get the job done. Like Medina said, she knew she could do the job on herself. She wanted someone who she could work with. Darren asked the question, what does someone want in their agent? They want someone in a peak state first and foremost, because just like if you're going to hire an attorney to represent you in a murder trial, you're going to want someone who's in a peak state, someone who looks sharp, someone who dresses sharp. If someone comes in to to meet with you and you're expecting a high-end lawyer and they dress like a bum, like that's not going to resonate, right? And it's not just about your clothes, right? I'm not saying you have to dress in tailor-made suits and all that, but I'm saying that you need to showcase that you're in a peak state. So, things that I've been doing is I've been changing my diet. I've been working out. I don't think it's stuff that you do in the office if you really want to start winning clients over, right? I think practicing your scripts in the office, doing role plays like we're doing, right? It's going to build your skill set, but your skill set only takes you so far until you couple that with being in a peak state. So, when you're showing up to these people, sometimes it's hard to be in a peak state when you're showing a dog shit property. You're showing a home for $200,000 perhaps in Stockton, maybe 350,000 in the hood of Modesto, right? Like it's hard to get jumped up and get in a peak state, right? But how you do anything is how you do everything. And I have a lot of agents in production right now. I have a lot of agents that are not in production right now. And what I see the biggest difference is that peak state and how that becomes contagious and infectious, and it makes people like you. Because if you're a peak state, you're probably nice, you're probably taking care of yourself, you're probably not stressed, you're probably not frustrated, you're probably somewhat balanced, right? And I think, like I said, let's keep working on these scripts. Let's keep mastering these scripts. I'm not trying to downplay the scripts at all. But I just want to highlight to everyone that it is a two-step process. How are you making your phone calls? Are you rolling out of bed, still in pajamas, making calls? Or did you get your body moving, whether it's just a walk and got some sunlight and it's like, hey, got your coffee and is not tired? These things are really going to matter. And if you're constantly in chaos, your experience with the client is going to be in chaos. You're going to be late for some appointments. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be not scheduled. You're going to be not calendared. These little things are the art of conversion. Having a time block in the morning where you make your calls every morning, right? So you don't have to think about it. You get your big rocks out of the way. These things coupled with the scripts are really what's going to propel your business. And it's the toughest thing to do. The toughest thing to do is look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I might not be perhaps performing as a peak athlete, as a peak real estate agent in my business. And so as you guys focus on the script, spend just as much time as like, hey, what would it take to put me in a peak state? And I got a few things for you guys, and I'll stop talking because I know I'm getting a little long-winded, but 3 things that I think are exercise. It doesn't have to be the gym. It can be as simple as walking, your diet, and having some form of a morning routine. Some type of morning routine that's bringing some type of personal development in your life. That could be going on YouTube and watching a 10-minute motivational video. That could be listening to a podcast of someone who has something that you want, right? Just feed your brain something smart instead of feeding your brain social media and how this person has a listing and you don't have a listing. And, oh my God, I'm way better than that person, or whatever you're seeing someone else's highlight reel. Eliminate the social media, have a strong morning routine, pair these scripts. All you guys will close 24 deals. It's not super hard. It's actually really simple, but the work that we do on ourselves is really going to determine and be that difference maker. And that's all I got.
Ooh, that was some fire, Jordan.
Yeah.
I got a little bit to add to that too, man. You got me inspired. I think the biggest thing, like Jordan said, it's a personal development, but the investment, we can't ask somebody to invest in us if we're not making that equal investment in ourselves. And I can tell you from experience, like when I weighed 100 pounds more and I had curly hair and I looked like a freaking a hobbit coming out of the fucking cave, like who would want to work with that guy? Nobody would want to work with that guy. But when I started actively going to the gym, I got back into real estate, I cleaned up my act, I started getting better. All of a sudden, people were inspired and they saw that, hey, man, this guy's starting to take care of himself. Like he's trying to do better for himself. And naturally, people are going to be attracted to you. But I would just say, like Jordan said, it starts with us. It starts with it. We have to love ourselves. We have to have a great relationship with ourselves so we can project that on other people. And if we're asking for someone to make that investment in us, we have to be willing to make that equal investment in ourselves. And the better we can have that relationship with ourselves, the more confidence we're going to have. And guess what? People are going to feel that. And one last thing I'll give you is a golden rule I use, because I like to talk about myself. I think a lot of people like to talk about themselves, right? So when I'm meeting with a client, I make it my mission to not talk about myself at all. Because what I've realized is when you sit down with someone and you don't even mention anything about yourself, you have such a great conversation and they leave that conversation like, man, I felt so good talking to Darren right now. I don't even know anything about him, but God, man, I can't wait to work with this guy. And then over time you'll develop that relationship. But that's all I got to piggyback off of Jordan.
Yeah, I love that. That's inspiring, guys. That's what I needed to hear this morning, to get going, right? So I'm fired up, right? I'm ready. Like put a client in front of me right now, like I'm ready to go. Let's go. So I don't know about you guys, but I think the rest of the day, I'm going to go hunt. I'm going to go find. I'm going to go claw my way into getting in front of people. So that way I can show how much energy that you guys have given me. And I want to find out more. I want to find out more and more about new people. I want to get to know one new person today. I want to ask them a bunch of questions, and that's my goal. If I can just meet one new person and get to know them, like that's the goal today, right? And that should be your guys' goal as well. Get to know one new person today if you're going to do anything, right? And then after you get that one person, go get another. So, all right, well, it's 9 o'clock, guys. Is there any burning desires for anyone?
I kind of had a funny quote, but I think we should all go out there and hustle harder than an ugly stripper today. That's my motivational quote.
All right, guys. Well, this was awesome. I'm excited.
Hey, I just got one more thing to say, guys. It's 9 a.m. I want to respect everyone's time. Remember what our job is, right? Darren just mentioned it. Our only job in real estate is.
You're going.
You cut out at your only job in real estate. The suspense is killing me right now.
I see double. 2 Jordans.
I think his phone died.
The only job in real estate is
anger. Gosh.
let's all find out. What
there he is.
Yeah.
No, we can't
hear you.
You can't hear me?
There we go.
Yes, there we go.
Okay, your only job in real estate is to wake up today and find someone who needs to buy or sell real estate and convince them to work with you. That's literally your only job today.
There we go.
All right, guys.
This was killing me.
All right, let's go. Let's get it. Peak State. Later.
Finish time, baby.